who touched my clothes? You see the people crowding around against you, his disciple answered, and yet you can ask, who touched me? But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering." Now, in preparing, I thought about just paraphrasing that part because it's not the main part of the story. But the truth is, you're not the only person going through something.
Come on now. Come on now.
While you're praying and going through your issue, so is your spouse. So are your children. So is your boss. So is the people around you. You don't get to be the only person having a hard time.
That's right.
And so in the midst of Jairus' need, in the midst of his request to Jesus, somebody else needed Jesus too.
All right.
And so this could be seen, I imagine, because when he gets to Jesus, he's already desperate. And so seeing this situation here, I don't know how we felt, but I can only imagine how I would have felt a little thrown off. This was supposed to be my turn. This is supposed to be my time for a blessing. And yes, I see you in need, and I want to be compassionate to you, but you're kind of pulling away from what I need right now. And so it seems like an interruption, or at the very least, it seems like a delay. It seems like you getting blessed is delaying me getting blessed.
You're preaching good. You're preaching good.
It seems like Jesus answering for you is stopping Jesus from answering for me. And I think sometimes because we see God operating and we think it's the way we operate, that we think that sometimes. We think Jesus stepping in to heal that person who has been so hateful to us must mean that Jesus doesn't love me.
Come on, talk about it.
Both of us, God.
Yay!
Or sometimes we think the fact that maybe that person who was up for parole was able to get out of jail. God, how could you let them out of jail? You must not care about my justice.
You preaching.
And so we put God into the stand of you must choose one or the other, and I must be first if you love me.
Yay! That's good. That's good.
God operates. God is so intentional and God is so fully planned out that he was not surprised by this woman's need. Nor was he surprised by how long it would take to get to Jairus' daughter. In fact, he knew this day would come before she was ever sick. And so when we get into our desperate moment and we get this clock ticking and we want to put God on a clock, God is like, I've been watching this show the whole time. You just got here. Your urgency is not an urgency to me. While you were playing and laughing and having fun, I already thought about how to get you out of this situation. And
speak to me, God. Speak to me.
It's hard for me sometimes to love people when it requires a sacrifice.
Yes.
Perhaps if Jairus was not in this situation, he saw this woman being healed, then he could say, oh wow, a miracle being performed. That's beautiful. But because it required something to be taken from him, it might make it a little difficult to praise about it. We want to be like Jesus, but we don't want it to cost us anything.
Come on. You gotta speak the truth in here.
It's difficult for us to say, I want to bless the people around me, but it may cost me.
That's right.
That I want to see you succeed, that I want to see you blessed, or I want to provide the needs that you have. I want to give to the needy, or I want to help those who are sick, but what if it costs me? Do I still want to do it?
Come on.
And it's hard, yes, because we're human. But if we really want to be like Jesus, it's not like Jesus, pricked his finger to save our life.
Come on, talk about it.
It's not like he just went and sat in a jail cell for 5 years to save our life.
You're preaching good.
He sacrificed his whole life.
That's right.
his whole protocol was to give to you is going to cost me.
Yes.
His whole idea of love is, yes, I know it will cost me, and I give it to you.
Amen.
And yes, it's tough, but it's only once that we get into a heavenly mindset to understand that what it cost me wasn't worth anything in the first place.
My
That
God.
I am able to give it up.
My God, my God.
Because Jesus' earthly body was worth nothing in comparison to the heavenly realm of glory that he would enter. And so yes, he gave up something, but it didn't matter anyway. And so if we hold on to things too closely, in this case, Jairus holding on to time. The time that he thought that was so pertinent to his daughter's healing, when the time didn't matter at all.
My God, my God. That's good. That's good.
So then as we continue, we have this interruption. And in verse 35, while Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. Your daughter is dead, they said. Why bother the teacher anymore? So after he has believed, after he has pleaded, and then after he has waited someone else's blessing, it now seems that he's getting a message of denial. It seems like he is being told, nope, it's not going to happen now. This is the phase where you had faith, you believed. Jesus told you yes. But now something has changed the circumstances.
All right.
The risk is a little higher now. It's a little heavier. You went to the doctor. You got a diagnosis. You told your family. You all prayed about it, believing for healing. But then you got sicker. But then you actually began to feel the condition take over your body. You began to get results that were worse and worse. Or you've been preparing for this job and you're like, oh yeah, I know I can get this job. And you go to the interview and the interview goes great. You believe it's a job for you. And then they tell you everything's good, but we got to do a background check. And you know what's on your background check. And you know they'll see that. It's that thing that comes up that makes your situation now seem impossible. But it didn't come from God. The important thing here was that the words that were said, your daughter is dead, these heavy words, Jesus did not speak them.
Come on now. Make it plain. Make it plain.
It was a report from other people to Jairus.
Wow.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Jesus
Come on now.
never said, your daughter is dead.
Report of others.
And so we can begin, as we continue on a journey, we can begin to get a report. And it doesn't mean that these people are evil or that they are against you, but that they are stating things in the natural. You begin to believe how your mind feels. You begin to believe how things are looking at work. You begin to believe the aches in your body. They're really there. It's not imaginary, but it's not what Jesus said.
You preaching.
The last thing